Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om, everyone. Sorry about some people came, but I was not there. I am in half sleeves. I am in Sydney. You must have worked that out now already. We are looking at the 55th verse of the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, commentary written by Gyaneshwari Maharaj. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. And here we are in the 1175 OV, and this is what we were looking at last week. And just to recap the last few examples that were taken, the example was the wave moves, wherever the wave moves, it is all water, and so the oneness of the wave with the water remains undisturbed. So when a seeker starts from the state of oneness with me and again returns to me, then this movement of his constitutes his pilgrimage and he becomes my pilgrim. See, all our journey is imaginary. All our journey. What is our journey? Where you are starting from? Yourself. Where you want to reach? Yourself. So where is this myself as the individual? Only an imagination. Can imagination exist without a substratum? No. And what are you wanting to go to substratum? Just as the wave is always connected to water. It came out of water, it existed in water, and it merges back into water. Really speaking, something called wave is never there. There is only water. Exactly if we understand this example, that is important. If we understand this example, then this wave, it also came out of the divine. It exists in divine and it goes back to divine, meaning at this very moment also it is nothing but divine. But do we have the eye to catch it? Do we have the eye to see it? Which is the eye? The third eye is required. For that, do whatever is required to be done. Do the sadhana, do the Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. So this is our pilgrimage. Just like very, very simply, if you look at it, it's so funny. Vision begins from eye and concludes in eye. Waker begins, goes into dream, deep sleep, and comes back to be the waker. The sleeper begins, goes to dream and waking, and comes back to be the sleeping, to the sleep. Everything is going like that only. Man goes out to become the husband. After that, comes back to be the man. Everywhere this principle is going on. But we don't look at it as such, That's where the problem is. And scriptures are revealing what is already taking place to us so that we stupid people can understand. Understand that there is no running around required. There is no running around required. You are already that which you are seeking. Then he says that, so when he starts from the state of oneness with me and again returns to me, then this movement of his constitutes his pilgrimage and he becomes my pilgrim. If he performs any actions according to his disposition, I myself will go to meet him under the pretext of that action. In this state, O Arjuna, the distinction between the deed and the doer disappears, and seeing me in himself, he becomes one with me. See how wonderful it is. If we can stay with this thought continuously, everything is over. First, the vision was given of the oneness, of the wave being the water. Now he is saying that, where are we? If he performs any action, when people see him performing an action, a realized master is also performing action, Ramakrishna Paramahansa is performing action. People say, see, he is walking, see, he is talking, see, he is meditating, see, he is eating, see, he is sleeping, whatever. All these are actions only. Who is saying I am doing action? No, Mahatma is not saying it. People are saying. So from that angle it is told that if he performs any action according to his disposition, so when such a Mahatma who is living in that unity, in that union, when he is seen performing actions, the Lord is saying, I myself go to meet him under the pretext of the action. So the divinity, so two ways you can look at it. So is there a doer there in the Mahatma? Activity is taking place. But for activity to take place, there should be a doer, there should be doing, and there should be the deed. So is there a doer there? Is there a prompter there? Is there a karta?
No.
See? It's not there, yes. Because he is already merged. Merged meaning he is continuous, he is already abiding in his essential nature. But where is the activity taking place? Is it happening in the consciousness? Is it happening in the self? Or is the activity seen on the upadhi? Upadhi of mana buddhi chitta, upadhi of Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh and Vijnanmaya Kosh. This is where the activity is seen. Yes. But then who is prompting that activity? Bhagwan is saying, the Lord is saying that I prompt, what did he say here exactly? He says, I myself go to meet him under the pretext of that action. So activity is prompted by the Lord, activity is performed by the Lord, and whatever is the result, that is also nothing but the Lord. Because the person, the seeker, the master, he is missing.
The owner.
The owner is not there. And this is what we call as a surrender. This is what we call as surrender. Surrender is not having tears coming down and ecstasy. All that is drama of all that. It happens, no doubt. But that is not what we should be going after. See? So this is the disposition of a master. The body is functioning. but there is no owner of the body. Now you see how you can function in your life where you allow everything to happen, but you are not the owner. And frankly, again, if I bring your attention to your life and to yourself right now, your eyes are not blinking because you want them to blink. They are blinking by themselves. Your nose is not breathing because you want to breathe. Breathing is going on. It's automatic. Who is making it? Divine. Who's making the hair grow? You are not making it grow. Divine. Who is making the cells multiply? Who is making the food digested? Who is making the hunger happen? Who is making the bladder pressure happen? Who is making the sleep happen? You can't create sleep. You cannot create hunger. You cannot create satisfaction. So if you start microscopically assessing your experience of life, you will find everything is happening. Bhagavad Gita is putting a mirror to your face and saying, see, all this is happening. Accept it as a happening. Why do you want to take charge of what is already taking place? This is what we do, isn't it? After waking up, we say, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. After hunger comes, then you say, I am feeling hungry. You add I am to it. Why don't you just say hunger happens? Waking is happening. Now my hunger is happening. Now satsang is happening. Now confusion is happening. Now clarity is happening. Change the language in which way you interact with yourself. And if someone says, hey, what are you talking about? Are you going crazy? Acha, 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 no, I am waking up. बोल के उसको बेवकूफ बना देने का और क्या? And if they still don't understand, automatically he will run away. पागल हो गया ये. See? So again, everything in our life is only happening. Some idiot has come and taken the ownership of all that is already taking place by itself. That idiot is called the ego. So that ego alone is expressing as the seeker. That is also another idiot. Because wave is already water. So you are already the infinite, the absolute self. Imagining that you are separate. So who is imagining this? The idiot. Who is that? Answer for yourself. See, मजा है ऐसे. When you start contemplating in this way, you see the what foolishness we are living with. How deep our foolishness has gone. That foolishness, nicely, our Gyaneshwari Maharaj has said, incomplete knowledge. Scriptures call that incomplete knowledge ignorance. Or Maya. It is incomplete knowledge. But when you think like this, what can you complete? You are already that. So what is the completion then? Completion is making the mind tranquil. Because all problem is in the mind, not in the self.
Calm the mind.
Pardon me?
Calm the mind.
Yes, calm the mind, make the mind tranquil, peaceful. See, the problem is not in the body, the problem is not in the self, the problem is not in the world, the problem is in the mind. So, pacify the mind, do whatever it requires. You are listening satsang, frankly, when I take this satsang or you are listening to satsang, I hope, against hope, that everything is, you keep coming back and I keep taking. Why? This mind feels calm after the satsang, or during the satsang and after the satsang.
Yes.
See? But it should not become an addiction. I have to come to a point where initially we want the mind to be calm. But we have to come to a point where whether mind is calm or not calm, I continue to be that one substratum. But to catch that substratum, to be that substratum, initially a calm mind is required. Maunam vyakhyat prakatita parabrahma tattvam. Dakshinamurti Stotram. First verse, Dhyan Shloka. And then Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. That is the next 1176 is that. So we'll get to that now. I myself go to meet him under the pretext of that action. In this state, O Arjuna, the distinction between the deed and the doer disappears. When do you say a musician is performing very well? When do you applaud? When the musician is one with the music. When the artist is one with the painting that he is creating. When the sculptor is one with the sculpture that he is carving. See? And this is our own assessment. We appreciate, we applaud that person. See? We travel. So many times we have traveled to India and other places, and wherever we go, we seek out the Mahatmas. Why? It is a sight to behold that a person is abiding in the self. What is his disposition? How does he behave? How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he eat? How does he sleep? How does he do whatever? What are you going to get? Nothing. And yet you go to that person. Yet millions of people come to meet him. Yet millions of people read his books. Why? Because he has touched himself in essence. So where the doer, karta and karya, when they meet, when whatever activity is taking place, where we merge into that activity, that is not possible outwards. It happens inwards.
Duality disappears.
See? So whatever you do in your life, we have said it many times, whatever you do it 100%. Listening 100%, talking 100%, shouting 100%, coming back to the neutral state 100%. Driving always above 100, even in 40 zone. Then you are living. And this is what we also experience. Whenever we are one with what we are doing, we enjoy that particular moment, and there is no time, we don't feel the passage of time, or we don't acknowledge the passage of time. We don't acknowledge that it was hard or not hard. We are just at one ment with the activity, isn't it? So these things happen to you and me every now and then. These things happen to you and me every now and then, because every activity we may not like. That is why. But here what Gyaneshwar Maharaj is saying is that once you recognize that the connection between you and the infinite is ever, there has never been a time that you have become separated from the infinite. Just as the wave and the water example was given, just as the pot space and the total space, that's another example. Just as the gold and the ornament, that's another example. Similarly, you are ever at one ment. It's not like this. You are that. Purnamada Purnamidam. And in that disposition, as long as the body is there, activity will happen. If activity is there, who is the doer? And what is the deed? Lord is saying, I am the doer and I am the deed. See? So do we see an ego expressing through that Mahatma? No. But we see a personality. But that personality is devoid of all arrogance. That personality is devoid of all ownership. I should put it that way. Devoid of all ownership. See. Then he says, according to his disposition, I myself go to meet him under the pretext of the action. O Arjuna, the distinction between the deed and the doer disappears, and seeing me in himself, he becomes one with me. See, you must have seen many times when you go to some self-development seminars, or when you are in a systematic study of Bhagavad Gita, especially in the earlier chapters, then you start getting a vision that instead of blaming the world, instead of judging the world, instead whatever is happening in your life, you internalize it. You internalize it. Like one person met me today and he said, आते ही शुरू हो जाता है. So went for a walk, and what happened? My wife has moved out of the house. What to do? How to take the approach? No, all this has happened after my father passed away last month. I have become spiritual now. I went to do this course, I went to do that Kriya course, and I am confused. I said, everything is happening. Now, instead of making it into a problem, look at it as a event that has taken place in your life and approach it in a positive way. What is the positive way? Now, house is empty. Do your kriya in the morning and in the evening. Before, wife never allowed him to do. Now you do it. Do your yoga. Do your meditation. You are not going to work 24 hours a day. Our way of living is, this has happened in my life. Who is to be blamed? A seeker is told, whatever you are experiencing in life is your own creation. Take full responsibility. That is called internalizing, isn't it? That is called internalizing. Because the whole universe is in your mind only. Better take responsibility. So that's what is told here when he says that seeing me in himself. So instead of seeing the world, where is his attention? His attention is on the substratum of the world. How is that attention on the substratum? Internal, inside out, not outside in, inside out. Inside out. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham is inside. If what is that because of which the Panchakoshas are functioning? Aham. What is that because of which the whole universe is functioning? Brahman. So what is the nature of Aham and Brahman? They are of the same nature. Both are conscious principles. What is the nature of the Aham? What is the Aham of wave? Water. What is its scope? What is its pervasiveness? Only up to the wave. From where the wave begins and to where the wave ends, that is its pervasiveness. What about the whole world of the waves? What is the basis of it? Water. What is its pervasiveness? You can't imagine. I am that. Yes, you are that. I am also water. That is also water. Yes, it is also. Then what do I have to do? Nothing. Stop doing. Then it will come. Then it will happen. Our hook is in doing. Nachiketa asked, Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat, anyatra asmat, kruta akruta. What is that which is beyond doing and not doing? Mahatma is he who has gone beyond everything. He has come to the substratum. Then who is maintaining the world? Who is maintaining the body? Who is the prompter of actions from that body? It is Lord Himself. And that is very well expressed in this verse. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. See? Everything is Brahman is the food, Brahman is the hand, is the expressing as the hand to pick up the food. Brahman is the eater of the food. Brahman is the digester of the food. Everything is Brahman eating Brahman. So actually speaking, nothing is taking place. But for an ignorant, so much is happening. Now an example is taken in the 174th, 1174. He says, if a mirror, he becomes one with me. If a mirror sees into another mirror, it is no seeing at all. Or if gold is covered with gold, it is not covered at all. If you have seen in many sometimes in temples or in museums, you will see mirrors where you can stand. And if you are standing between two mirrors, how many reflections you will see? Infinite reflections of yourself. Both sides, wherever you put your attention. You get out of the way. If there are two mirrors face to face, what they are seeing, what is getting reflected, what it will see.
Nothing.
Correct. There's nothing to see. See? So when he says here that if a mirror sees into another mirror, it is no seeing at all. Or if gold is covered with gold, it is not covered at all. The examples continue. For a lamp, it is not possible to give light to another lamp. For a lamp, it is not possible to give light to another lamp. So if a person performs any action after becoming one with me, Can we say that the action is performed? Yet action is seen. We cannot say action is performed, yet the world says the Mahatma is performing actions. Then what is it told? It is divine will. We'll read these 1176 onwards. And दीपाते दीपे प्रकाशिजे तेन प्रकाशनेची निपजे तैसे कर्म मिया कीजे ते करणे कैचे कर्म ही करीतची आहे जय करावे हे भाष जाये तै न करणेची होय तयाचे केले क्रिया जात मी झालेपणे घडे काहीची न करणे तयाची नाव पूजणे खुणेचे माझे म्हणवनी करीत याही वोजा ते न करणे हेची कपिध्वजा निफजे तैतिया महापूजा पूजितो माते एवं तो बोले ते स्तवन तो देखे ते दर्शन अद्वया मजर गमन तो चाले तेची. These examples he is taking. For a lamp is not possible to give light to another lamp. So if a person performs any action after becoming one with me, can we say that the action is performed? I'll give you one example. When a person is awake and performing actions and I slap you, you will take revenge. You will say good and bad words to me. Why? Because I slapped you for no reason. But if someone is sleeping and while sleeping, if the husband kicks the wife or the wife kicks the husband or the child kicks the mother, do we feel offended? Do we feel offended? No. Why? There is no aham there. Activity is taking place in sleep. In sleep, activity is taking place, but there is no aham. There is no doer of activity. Because in sleep we are disidentified with the body. See? So in this, exactly like that. So we give complete discount to that person. We don't feel offended and we don't react back to that person also or to that child also. Because we know this person is sleeping and in sleep nobody is aware of the body. So this action is, how can I blame this person that you are purposely kicking me? It does not happen that way. Exactly the same way a Mahatma also functions. He is merged in the divine. He is surrendered to the divine. He has lost his identity as an individual. He's lost his identity as an individual. You lose your individuality to a large extent in deep sleep. 99% your individuality is gone. Only the functional I is left, which is keeping your body formed together. Otherwise, you will just splatter away if there is no ahankar. But this is the functional ahankar. Is the phenomenal ahankar. See? So look at that Mahatma. Who is totally surrendered, at one ment with the essential self. And when he, and we can say, so if a person performs any action after becoming one with me, can we say that the action is performed? Yes, it is performed. When we say performed, then there has to be a performer. If I just play with the words here, If there is a performed action, there has to be a performer. But here, action is seen, but there is no actor seen. See? So here he says that if he, while performing action, does not have the egoistic feeling that he is the agent of that action, the doing of that act is tantamount to not doing it. Agent means what? I am the doer. There is no desire. In sleep, the child kicks the mother. Mother does kautuk of it. Oh, see how my child rolls around in the bed and he kicks and his head is his legs are on my head or this and that. But that same child, let it be 6, 7, 8 years old also. Now, while he is awake, he goes and kicks the mother. Will mother excuse him? See how there is no kautuk of that person. He should get one thigh on a backside, put him in place, teach him the lesson that this is not the way you have to behave. Why? There is an agent available. The child is doing with knowledge. There is a doer there. In sleep, there was no doer there. So are our actions being performed at this moment? Are our actions being performed that I have to speak, or is speaking taking place? I have to listen, or listening is taking place? I have to see, or seeing is taking place? Are we the witness, or are we the doer? This is called living with awareness. Don't become the agent. Agent is the big crystallization of consciousness. Doer is he who has become identified. Then he becomes the doer. Let the activity go on. You remain separate. Keep watching. Not expecting. Accepting whatever comes as a result. Something is going to come. When there is an activity, some result will also be there. Karma is there. Karma phal is also there. If you identify with this activity, then it is karma. Karma requires karta. Karta alone can do karma. But when you are not identified with it, then what? Then will it be called karma? Then what will it be called? Karya. Kriya, not karya, kriya. It will be called kriya. Karma was kriya with ownership. Karma was kriya with ahankar. Karma was kriya plus agent. Agent is that ego, agent is that desirer, and so on. Karma gives you karma phala. Karma phala is binding. Kriya gives you kriya phala. It is not binding. Why it is not binding? Because for kriya phala, there is no owner of the result. So there was no doer of the activity and there is no owner of the result of the activity because you are the witness. This is called living in the daily functioning. This is how we must function. And how do we function now? Totally opposite. My mind, how can that person speak to me like this? I'll show you. Now I am hungry and I have to do this and I have to do that and blah, 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 blah goes on. See, So this idea that I am doing the activity, if I don't do the activity, who will do the activity? Who will improve the world? Who will give the lecture? Who will help people realize? Who will build the ashrams? Who will build the temples? Who will take care of the whole universe? अपनी औकात पहचानो. Get out of all this. It will, all these thoughts will only create more agitations and stress. Separate yourself. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharir. Separate yourself. Watch. The activity is only there. There is no activity here. He is the watcher. He is the Sakshi. He is the Sakshi. And when, yeah, he is the Sakshi. Activity is happening by itself. How it is happening by itself, this is not the point. I might as well reiterate it, repeat it 100 times so that one day it clicks. How is activity happening? Just like your blinking of your eyes is happening by itself. Breathing is happening by itself. Digesting is happening by itself. Hunger is happening by itself. Already I have given you the examples. All activity is happening by itself. Trust. You think your job is to be one with the divine. Either remain separate or continue to contemplate on the divine principle. कर लो तो अच्छा है. Otherwise, since he has become one with, so this act is tantamount to not doing it. Kriya is where there is no doer. Kriya is where there is no doer. So therefore he is saying not doing it. Since he has become one with me, that means this fellow has become one with the divine. His doing amounts to not doing, and that is a special characteristic of my worship. When this fellow has become one with me, that is the divine, his doing is equal to not doing. Seeing the sunset is equal to no sunset. Seeing the sunrise is equal to no sunrise. It's an illusion. Sun doesn't set, sun doesn't rise, but it is seen. Appearance of a wave is equal to no appearance, because it's all, before also it was water. When the wave appeared is also water, and after the wave dies it's still water. So what is real? Here question is, what is real? Is wave the real or the water is real? If your attention is, so this fellow has come to the reality, the divinity, the essential self, the Atman. Activity, here there is no activity. Activity is only in sthula, sukshma and karan sharir. Annamaya, pranmaya, manomaya, vijnanmaya kosh. Activity is only in these koshas, only in these sheaths. So activity is equal to no activity, because all this is not the reality. Reality is only this. Reality is the consciousness. Reality is not the name and form. Reality is not the sthula, sukshma and karana. Now see, where we are missing the point in our daily life. We take it all too seriously. We take it to be real. And having given the status of reality to the body, to the world, to the mind, to the circumstances, to our health, to the past, to the future, to the old age, to the disease. We are given a status of reality. And therefore, I have taken the ownership of all these, and now I am suffering the consequences of it. Then what is to be done? Separate. Don't talk about it. Don't fan it. When you fan the fire, it rages further. How do you fan it? How do you fan all this? By giving value, importance, attention to the activity. That is how you build up ownership, isn't it? That leads to more desire, more ownership, more desire, more ownership, and ego becomes stronger and stronger. That same ego, when it separates itself, that ego is not called ego, it is called Sakshi. Ego is crystallized consciousness. It is called ego separated from identification is called witnessing consciousness. And when the witness becomes aware of its source, when will that happen? When the impact of these three reduces to some extent. And this fellow will automatically fall back into his own nature. That is vairagya, that is tyage naike amritatva manashu. And once he realizes, hey, I have always been complete. In this circle, where is the beginning and where is the end? Purnamada Purnamidam. And this, afterwards again it starts, it has got its own data, it's working. And this is what is observed in the Mahatmas. And that what is observed in the Mahatmas, or what we observe in the persona of Sri Krishna, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, that alone, what is his direct experience, how he functions, he is giving us the secret. Krishna Bhagwan is ever merged, ever surrendered to his higher self. He knows that he is the Parabrahma Paramatma. His attention is always on that. He doesn't allow the duality or multiplicity to corrupt his abidance. So, O Arjuna, whenever he performs any action as prescribed, he does nothing, and that is my Solomon worship. So, such a person, when he does any action that is prescribed, what is prescribed action? If you remain in this prescribed action, what is? Now, the data is there that I have a duty towards my husband. I have a duty towards my wife, because you have been living together for such a long time, or your children are there. Now, the mind is saying it, let it say, let it function. Prescribed, not what you desire. Prescribed duty is told. Prescribed duty in Vanaprastha is not about remaining attached to the children. See, so you do your prescribed duty, and if you have chosen your prescribed duty is to contemplate on reality as I, then be truthful about it under all sets of circumstances. See? If hunger comes, food will also come. If sleep comes, you will not be able to remain, mind will not be able to remain awake. It will go to sleep. You remain separate. Don't own it. That's a knack which will come when we spend more time away from these. When we are with these, that knack doesn't reveal itself. It just like mirage water appears under under special circumstances. Sunrise and sunset appear under special circumstances. In the midday, you cannot have a sunrise or sunset. Exactly the same way. This knack which I am talking about, it doesn't appear anytime you wish. It comes from not wishing. It happens, that knack clicks, reveals itself when we become desireless. When we reduce the ownership more and more and more and more. We reduce the wants more and more and more and more. Then it clicks. फिर उसके बाद क्या? मौज में रहो. Don't worry, be happy. So, O Arjuna, whenever he performs any action as prescribed, he does nothing. And this is my soulman worship. Yogarato va, bhogarato va. See? So, a Janak Maharaj who lives as a king in the midst of luxury, he's not corrupted by the luxury. Whether he is doing yoga or he's a king or he's a prime minister, nothing affects. He is ever equanimous, ever the sakshi of whatever is going on. Why even a sakshi? He's gone beyond that. He has gone beyond. Because surrender does not mean remaining a sakshi. Surrender means going back, being the source. But the penultimate step before surrender is this one. He does nothing. So such a person, whether he is seen to be living in palaces or begging food for bhiksha on the streets, for him both is same. Someone gives him $1,000 bed to sleep, and the next day he finds himself sleeping on hay. It's the same. Why? No ownership. Why? He's not. That feeling will come only if I am the body. He is not the body. He is surrendered to the divine. All that is changing is phenomenal. Phenomenal means that which exists in its own absence. Mithya. Mirage is a mithya. Sunrise and a sunset is mithya. The 15, 16 kala, the waxing and waning of the moon is mithya. The eclipse is a mithya. Nothing is happening, yet something is seen to be happening. Similarly, waking, dream, deep sleep, mithya. Birth and death, mithya. Past and present and future, mithya. How can you say that? Dream also, all these things happen, they are mithya. You don't give them any value after waking up. So wake up from this gross mithya. Wake up, wake up. Only understanding is required. Nothing that you can do to bring it about. Just understand. Just be. Be surrendered. Be surrendered to God. Be surrendered to the self. Whichever way you feel. In short, whatever he says is singing my praise. Whatever he sees is my vision. And wherever he goes, that is his pilgrimage to non-dual me. So who is the Lord? Where is the Lord? Everywhere. Where is the water? Everywhere. Where will the wave go? Wherever the wave goes, there the water is. Wherever the wave goes, there the water is. See, now if you understand this statement, then every curse of Durvasa Rishi is a blessing in disguise because it's the divine word. See? Then everything, whatever he sees, he touches, don't we say, oh, that Mahatma looked at me. That Mahatma, I think, when he was talking directly to me. Every person in the hall is thinking that way. Why? This is how it happens. Because there is no speaker there. It is the Narayana who is speaking, or it is the divine which is speaking. See? So such a person from the divine point of view, whatever he speaks is divine, whatever he sees is divine, whatever he hears is divine. We divide it into good and bad speech, we divide into good and bad vision, we divide into good and bad words. But such corruption is not there. For whom are these duality? For the one who has ownership. But the one who has surrendered, he can't see the differences. He can't see the differences. For him, everything is ever the same. And wherever he goes, that is his pilgrimage to non-dual me. So wherever he goes, the ornament which was identified with its form, I only hang around the neck. Don't melt me. I don't want to become the anklet. I think I've gone to Patala Lok now. Then it gets melted. It did some tapasya. Who? The anklet did some tapasya. Tapasya generates heat. It got melted and it became a crown. Oh, I have gone to Satyaloka. I am the ornament of the Sahasrar. Before what was I? I was only at the Patal Lok. Is that a promotion for the anklet? Before also it was gold, now also it is gold. If you understand this example, that is exactly what we are trying to do when we seek heaven. Don't get into the trap of heaven. Don't get into the trap of heaven. Swarga, swarga, swarga. What will you recognize? You are the master of all the swargas. You are the master of all the 14 bhuvanas. You are unaffected by the 14, yet supporting the 14. Where are the bhuvanas? Here. Who are you? This. That is your nature. That is the pilgrimage. There is no our pilgrimage is to ourselves. Such a person who is surrendered, he finds himself, when we say this statement, he finds himself in the right place at the right time with the right circumstances. And when we start a few times, when we experience that, what do we say? I think it's the Lord's wish, everything is happening without any efforts. It is effortless. Immediately we create cause and effect there. Lord is the cause, and what is happening in our life is the effect, which is happening effortlessly. Get out of this cause and effect also. Whether it happens or it doesn't happen, we must remain undisturbed. In fact, our disposition should be like that child who kicks but doesn't know that he's kicking. But kicking is taking place. Turning around on the bed is taking place, but the child is not aware. Where is he? Sleeping. Where is this person which Gyaneshwari Maharaj is talking about, or Krishna is talking about? Where is this person? He is not available to this, he is available to this. He surrendered to this. And therefore, surrender means being this, being complete. Circle is complete. This is called Chin Mudra. Mudra means that which gives you joy, that which gives you bliss. So can you get bliss from here? No, only blisters. When you come back to your own nature, it's uncaused bliss. Uncaused. Not because of. Continuing. तो करी ते तुली पूजा. ठीक है ना, ये कर लिया. हाँ. तो करी ते तुली पूजा, तो कल्पी तो जपू माझा, तो असे तेची कपिध्वजा, समाधी माझी. जैसे कनकेसी कांकणे, असी जे अनन्यपणे, तो भक्ती योगे येणे, मजसी तैसा. उदकी कल्लोळू, कापुरी परिमळू, रत्नी उजाळू, अनन्यू जैसा. किंबहुना तंतुसी पटू, का मृत्तिकेसी घटू, तैसा तो एकवटू, मजसी माझा. इया अनन्य सिद्धा भक्ती, या आघवाची दृश्य जाती, मज आपण पेया सुमती, दृष्टया ते जाण. He says, O Arjuna, whatever he does becomes my worship. Whatever he does becomes my worship. Why? There is no ownership. That is why. There is complete surrender. That is why. There is no doership. That is why. Then it becomes my worship. Whatever he thinks is muttering my name, and whatever state he abides in is his absorption, samadhi in me. So now he is not for him, surrender is not an event. For him, samadhi is not an event. I am not the body, I am not the breath, I am not the mind. Now I am going to sit, and my breath becomes slow and shallow, and it almost becomes not going in or coming out, and there are no thoughts in the mind. Now I reach samadhi. I think I was in Samadhi. This is Jada Samadhi. If we can be the self, whether mind is quiet or mind is active, that is true Samadhi. So let the mind function. It is its job to function. It is the job of the mind to think. It is the job of the eyes to see. It is the job of the ears to hear. It is the job of the nose to smell. Why are you forcing it not to do that? There are repercussions. If you force your ears not to hear, when that control is over, the ears will take full 110% revenge. Through some unnatural means, you try to pacify the mind and control the mind. Alcohol, drugs, pranayam, forcing the mind to become quiet. Even japa, when done without awareness, without surrender, then it is forcing the mind. Then the mind takes revenge. It becomes even more active the moment you finish your japa. So these are all unnatural activities. So should we not do it? No, please do it. But with this understanding, let there be no ownership. When there is no ownership, then will I begin japa? If you are saying I have to begin japa, then problem. Let japa happen. Just like seeing happens, hearing happens, talking happens, let japa happen. Just as waking happens, sleep happens, let japa happen. Let meditation happen. You will remain the same. You remain in sahaja bhav. Sahaja bhav is you are the self, you are surrendered to the divine, you are the divine under all sets of circumstances. Circumstances are only three: waking, dream, deep sleep. These are the circumstances. They have their own tentacles. Phenomena within a phenomena within a phenomena. You remain here. O Arjuna, whatever he does becomes my worship, whatever he thinks is muttering my name, and whatever state he abides in is his absorption samadhi in me. Then such a person is not disturbed. Guru Nanak Dev, one mother took a beautiful 16-year-old in front of a girl, her daughter, in front of Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak looked at her and forgot to blink his eyes. And the mother became very old. Guru Nanak Ji was elderly. And he just kept looking, and there was a smile on his face, and kept looking, didn't blink. Didn't blink. This was not expected from an old man. This was not expected from a wise man who is a guru, Guru Nanak. And that straightforward woman, he said, she straight away blurted out, I did not expect this from you, Gurudev. He understood. He said, indeed, your daughter is very beautiful. When I looked at the beauty of your daughter, my attention went to how much more beautiful that creator must be. And I forgot to blink the eyes because my attention got stuck in him. This is surrender. Every activity, every event, every interaction, every stimuli is the expression of divine. If a thoda sa kacha is reminding him of the divine, as Dattatreya says, from everything in this world is my guru. He learns from it. Not learns to establish the world. He learns from it to come back to the self, to surrender to his being. See? Just as a gold bangle is not different from gold, so he has become one with me through the yoga of devotion. We have already talked about it. Ornament is already the gold, wave is already the water, mud pot is already the mud. Similarly, you are already the divine. There is no difference. Just as the wave is not different from the waters, or the camphor from its odor, or the jewel from its glitter, in short, as the cloth inheres in the thread, or the earthen pot in the clay, so my devotee remains united with me. See, this is again, the clay alone has gone to become the mud pot. Clay has got no form. Earth has got, it's a huge, total earth. Where does it begin? Where does it conclude? Nowhere. And yet it is everywhere. But from that, that same clay has gone into a pot. Pot has a beginning and an end. Pot has a particular shape. See? Water has no form, but water has taken the form of the wave or the ocean or the tide or the tsunami. Gold has got no form. It has taken the form of the ornaments. See? So even after taking the form, it is still clay, it is still gold, it is still water. The continuous principle, the unchanging principle, the constant principle is the clay, gold, water, isn't it? What is that constant principle in spite of the form? Atma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, whatever. So when you are touching the ornament, it has a particular shape around your neck. You are touching the necklace or you are touching the gold? You are touching the gold. Then where is the necklace? Is it separate from gold? No. Is it gold? Yes. Then what is the status of necklace? Necklace is a particular form imagined on the gold or in the gold. And where is that form? Existing in its own absence. Mithya. Gold is Sat. Gold is the truth. The form of the necklace, the form of the ring, the form of the pot, the form of the wave. Don't stop there. Form of the body. Form of the body. Don't stop there. Form of the thoughts. All this is mithya. On one hand, the form is mithya. But where is the form imagined? On the constant principle that you are. See. O Arjuna, he sees me in O Arjuna, he sees me in every object by means of this exclusive devotion. So this vision is not developed by willfully, by will. It is not developed by will. As we were talking before, it is a knack. It is a happening. And when does this happening happen? It is always happening. You are not available to it. Why? Ownership, identification, accepting the phenomena to be the real, and disregarding the constant principle. Continuing in 196. नहीं यार, क्या गड़बड़ हो रही है?
I think 1185, Swamiji.
But where is 1185? I don't have 1185. 11, they have got a misprint here. It is 1185, correct. So 1186 we have to start. तीन ही अवस्था चेनी द्वारे उपाध्युप्यहिताकारे भावा भाव रूप स्फुरे दृश्य जेहे तेहे आघवेची मी द्रष्टा ऐसिया बोधाचा माझी वटा अनुभवाचा सुभटा धेडा तो नाचे रज्जू झालिया गोचरू आभासता तो व्याळा कारू रज्जूची ऐसा निर्धारू होय जेवी भागारा परते काही लेणे गुंजही भरी नाही हे आटुनिया ठाई की जे जैसे उदका ये का परते तरंग नाहीची हे निरुते जाणोनी तया आकाराते न घेपे जेवी. When he realizes that the visible world which appears in the form of the field and the knower of the field, kshetra kshetrajna, kshetra field, kshetrajna knower of the field. So find out which one are you? Are you the field or are you the knower of the field? What is the field? This is the body. I know this is the body. So the knower of the body has to be necessarily separate from the body. Body is the kshetra, the knower of the body is the kshetrajna. How are we living? I am the body. Totally contrary to the knowledge. And then we wonder why we are in trouble. Self-inflicted problem. When he realizes that the visible world which appears in the form of the field and the knower of the field through the three states of wakefulness, dream and deep sleep is none else but me. So it is that one who is expressing through waking, dreaming, sleeping. It is that one light which appears as the 7 colors. It is that one space which is appearing as the many pot spaces. It is that one gold which is appearing as many ornaments. It is that one divinity, one self, one Brahman, one Atman, which whatever name you give it, alone is appearing as the waker, waking world and the waking experience, dreamer, dream world and the dream experience. And now don't say sleeper, sleeping world and sleeping experience. There is nothing like that. Then what is it? It's absence of the waking world and the dream world. It's called the sleep. There is no experiencer of the sleep there. You are one with the divine. You just don't know it. That's all. See? So, what is the material which has gone? The gold. What is the material which has gone into the waking dream and deep sleep? The self. Wow. So, don't fight with waking dream and deep sleep. Remember, we are doing Anvaya now. We are not into Neti Neti. We are not into I'm not the body, I'm not the breath, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. Here we are saying everything is nothing but divine. It's all inclusiveness. It's the all pervasive principle. And on that all pervasive principle called self, all the forms. What were the forms? Waker, waking world, and waking experience. This is one form. Dreamer, dream world, and dream experience, another form. Within that form, so many others are imagined. It's only superimposed on the true self, on the conscious self. Deep sleep is none else but me. And when this realization happens that there has never been a moment that the divinity has not been there, that everything is self or everything is the divine Lord, everything is Krishna Maya. Here, if you want to take it that way, but here he's talking from the absolute standpoint. Every time he says everything is me, he has taken the absolute standpoint. And here, yes, he did mention if you take every kshetra and kshetrajna, every knower and known, bring it to the source, every aham and idam, to be nothing but pervaded by the conscious principle that I am. Then there is ecstasy. Such a person dances away. Then what is his expression? Balavat, unmattavat, pishachavat. Then he goes mad. Because there is no place that I am not. He dances in great ecstasy like a big wig. Just as after viewing the rope, one becomes convinced that it is not a serpent, although at first sight it appeared to be so, or after the ornaments are melted, it is known only to be gold, or that the wave is nothing but water, so he is not deceived by its form. He lives amongst the form, but he doesn't consider himself to be any form. So, what is the status of all the form? Mithya. His attention is on the substratum. His attention is on the Nitya Vastu. When I say attention, he is the Nitya Vastu. He doesn't see himself as separate from the Nitya Vastu. This is being the Nitya Vastu. See? So just as a person, if he is bitten by he's walking in the dark and he steps on something and it flicked up and touched his foot, and coconut rope is very prickly. If you have those who have been to who come from India, coconut rope is very prickly. It comes and pricks you, and in that darkness you didn't see it was a rope. You think it is you have stepped on a snake and the snake has bitten, and the moment you accept in your mind that you have been bitten by a snake, that very moment all the symptoms of a snake bite start expressing through through your body. And you start screaming. Someone comes, hearing your voice, puts the light on. By that time, your leg has become blue-black. There is froth in your mouth. You are writhing on the floor, screaming away. And someone comes and puts the light on. What happened? I got bitten by a snake. And you look around, the person who came in looks around. Where is the snake? No, it was just here. There's only a rope here. There's no snake. Immediately all the symptoms go away. Immediately all the symptoms go away. Immediately, the moment we go to sleep, all the pains of the body go away, all the agitations go away, all the duality of the world goes away, all the expectations, aspirations, guilts, regrets, everything from your mind goes away. Automatically, you don't have to do anything. You just surrender to the sleep. Same way, when we surrender to the self or to the divine, that very moment, Sarparajjuvat, when we are identified, this phenomena appears to be real and it has its consequences. Just like in his mind he believed he was bitten by a snake, he had the consequences. He went through the suffering till someone came and put the light on and told him it is a rope. Who was that? Guru Maharaj. Who was that? Scriptures. And the moment that your attention is brought to the reality, suddenly the impact of these starts waning away. And it is happening anyway every night. Now it is happening consciously. That's all that is, nothing more. Now what yoga is going to bring you to this? What pranayama is going to bring you to this? What japa is going to bring you to this? I'm not saying don't do it. Do it. But understand that you are already that. And if you do something, if you put efforts in some sadhana, it must lead to effortless abidance. It must lead to effortless abidance. So continue abiding effortlessly. I will abide effortlessly in Sydney. So Saturday night we will see if the log on at the right time. At that time, if I am around, there will be class. If not, we'll see. I don't know what is taking place at that time. And then Sunday morning also. Sunday morning should not be a problem. We'll continue. We'll conclude here. So we did up till where? 190, 1190 we did. 1191 we had to begin. Correct? Yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sit for a few moments. Hari Om everyone.